I'm Mike Blaze, and this is my wife, Linda Blaze. We were married in 1991. We were married for about 7 years before we were separated and divorced. Essentially, I was just caught up in a lot of selfish, sinful kind of activities, and got to the point where I was unhappy, Linda seemed unhappy, and it seemed the best to me that I needed to leave the home.
After Michael left, I was very depressed and felt forsaken. I actually felt like the sun wouldn't come up the next day, the night he left. But my children were still making me laugh, and I knew the Lord was carrying more hurt and anger for me than I could bear. And I knew I wasn't forsaken by the Lord, although we had many shouting matches. And when the psalmists say, cry out to the Lord, I cried out to the Lord.
Linda would invite me to church or to other functions. I would be there. And this one particular time, I would say it was a church service in which the pastor preached on divorce, and it really got me. It really penetrated my heart and started making me think differently and adjust my course and my path. And I was the type of person that I'd gone to church all my life, but I knew the language. I really didn't know the Lord. And through this process, I got to meet Jesus, and I came to a point where I committed my life to Christ, and from that day on, everything changed.
We were remarried shortly after, about a year after Michael was saved at a Promise Keepers event, and he was truly saved, like a Saul conversion, where I saw a different man. I didn't trust it right away. I trusted the Lord, and I was following the footsteps of obedience to God, but I really did get the blessing of seeing someone totally changed by the Lord. The scales had dropped from his eyes, and he saw the world a whole new way. Now our marriage is like it's like a big blossoming flower bed that is constantly in bloom. It's really amazing. Jesus understands my forsakenness and the hurt that I went through, because he walked through it with me and sometimes carried me and was the lifter of my head each morning. And he also walked on this earth and saw the hurt that we cause each other every day.
I think the Psalms discuss and cover the issue of loneliness because it's so common in our human condition, and that even people who are in groups, even people who are in families at times experience loneliness. Maybe not being by yourself, but maybe in your spirit, in your soul, those types of things. And that when we read the Psalms and when we engage in that type of scripture, we have that feeling of it's not just me, and I can be comforted by knowing that that many others have gone through it and have sought out God and been comforted by Him in their periods of loneliness.